I remember being about 8 years old and watching Grammy in the kitchen, picking the chicken off of the remaining chicken bones, the chicken carcass of a baked chicken, and her two daughters, my mother and her much older sister, they were the bookends, my mother, the youngest of 6 kids, they wanted her to stop messing with that chicken. And it hit my little kid radar. I stood there watching these 3 women, my grandmother, my aunt, my mother, like one watches a scene. And it is seared in my mind like a scene from a play, a scene from a movie. I was puzzled that they were telling my Grammy what to do. Grammy was formidable. Grammy was in charge. Grammy told everyone else what to do in my family system, not the other way around. She was guarding that chicken carcass, y'all, like a wild animal protects its kill. I can still hear my mom and aunt saying things to her in my mind like, "Mama, that chicken needs to be thrown out. It's old. It's going to make you sick." And I watched the sisters with each other look at each other and pass unspoken communication between their eyes. I saw that commentary pass between them, but I didn't understand what they were getting at, what they were saying, and why they were interrupting their mother. And that chicken she seemed so weirdly committed to. Grammy would not give up that hunk of chicken bones. I pestered my aunt and my mom for more information for weeks on end after this. The most explanation I could get was Grammy grew up during the Depression and they had nothing. Grammy sometimes went hungry. It's why Grammy despises waste of any kind. She needed everything to survive. And I understood in my little kid way that I could understand that Grammy wasn't just being a hard ass about wastefulness. She was scared that she wouldn't have enough one day, or scared that I wouldn't have enough one day. And she was hyper aware of not wasting anything for this reason. I see her flash in my mind if I waste something today. If I see someone wasting, she flashes in my mind. I've thought about the wastefulness of our American culture a lot. If you really think about it, to waste is to acknowledge living with and through abundance. To waste is to acknowledge a level of safety and security that Grammy had lost at an impactful age. We often link anti-wastefulness with respecting resources and a moral compass, like money, time, and the fact that others possess less. We want to respect these resources. We rarely think about wastefulness as it relates to true survival, to a sense of lack so profound one could starve to death. These are scarily deep traumas for any child to feel, to experience, to bear the burden of. I understood, even though I didn't have the words yet, the phrasing yet, of things like trauma history. I understood that Grammy had a Depression-era trauma history, a Depression-era background that shaped her and made certain things really, really hard for her all these years later. No one mentioned her father killing himself during the height of the Great Depression to me ever. Dysfunctional families don't typically have the resiliency muscles to truth speak and often don't share pertinent details with children or even with children as they become adults. Because if the adults don't know how to handle their sadness, their grief, their powerlessness, deep down, they know that they cannot hold space for a child's emotions. Children have an unfiltered curiosity and inquisitiveness that so many dysfunctional families just don't know how to handle. And so they accidentally teach their children to bury and hide the truth of things. Even while we feel, whether we think of ourselves as an intuitive or not, even while we feel and sense the truth of things around us. This is in large part what constitutes psychologically and behaviorally passing on patterns like poor communication, sweeping things under the rug, poor transparency, lots of denial, lots of masking to cover up the truth, conflict avoidance, black and white thinking and behaving. Comment 302 to get a link to the entire episode.